Hydro option can work, like Xingqiu or Yelan, but make sure you're weaving in normal attacks if you use either of them, or even someone like Barbara, whose Hydro Ring can be enough for Ayaka to freeze, even if it does have more downtime. Barbara is obviously worse than Mona or Kokomi, but she is underrated in this team as she's honestly just enough Hydro to make your burst work, but upgrading your Hydro slot is definitely nice. Lastly, for your Nemo slot, Kazuha is the best for the damage buff that he gives you through his passives, as well as just being a broken character. With that said, other options like Venti can work very well also, and alternatives include Sucrose or Jean, but both of these won't give you as much damage or grouping when compared to Kazuha and Venti. Because of that, I do believe that having someone like Kazuha is definitely a big upgrade for freeze teams, especially when you consider the fact that Sucrose, who gives you elemental mastery buffs on her passives, doesn't actually buff freeze teams all that much, as EM is mostly wasted on all the characters, so someone like Kazuha definitely is a big upgrade, but obviously you can still play freeze variations even without him. Alright, now moving on, the other go-to team when freeze doesn't work, especially against boss enemies, is going to be Mono Cryo. Mono Cryo is just like freeze, but without the Hydro option, replacing it with another crowd character. Now, while I do want to say that if you can freeze most enemies, and then there's like one boss in the Abyss, using a freeze team still isn't the worst idea, because your Hydro character, like Kokomi or Mona, can still provide value even if you're not freezing, but in teams like that, Mono Cryo becomes better at single target, and so it can become a viable team, and has definitely been getting better the more bosses have been, I guess, sneaking their way into the Abyss, but it still typically isn't the go-to recommended team when compared to freeze. With that said, Mono Cryo is good. You just slap two random crowd characters next to your Ayaka, and an Nemo support, like notably Kazuha, and you call it a day. These teams do get a lot better with Shenhe, so if you have her, definitely use her in a Mono Cryo team, although I don't think she's mandatory, but Shenhe definitely does give you a very big increase in damage, as her passives and also her burst and skill, just the way they work with the Icy Quills and her passive talents, will just give you a nice amount of crowd damage and attack to your crowd characters. Also, while you can use any Nemo option, I personally recommend either Kazuha or Jean. If you need a healer, what you can do is use someone like Jean or also Sayu as a budget Jean option in this team, as your 2-in-1, a Nemo user to decrease the resistance of opponents, and healer, allowing you to run a more offensive cryo option. Lastly, for the more weird teams, you can obviously play Ayaka in Reverse Melt Quick Swap, where you're using pretty much all of your characters together, Bennett, Xiangling, Rosaria, or another crowd character, using all their bursts and then going to your Ayaka, using her burst and melting a few hits. As I mentioned earlier, Ayaka's burst will not be melting that often, but Xiangling can also get some melts in, and it's still a pretty decent team. It's just not Ayaka's best, and it's not usually recommended meta-wise, as there are better teams that focus around Xiangling and better teams that focus around Ayaka. Lastly, with the release of Dendro, as I mentioned in my last video, I do believe that crowd characters are very underrated as the last slot in a Hyperbloom team. The way this works is you just use Hyperbloom, so Hydro, Electro, and Dendro, like these three characters you're seeing here, and then the last slot is a crowd character, and Ayaka is one that actually works here. While again, this isn't her most recommended playstyle, it actually can work very well. Not only can you passively freeze the enemies because of your crowd character, but you can also get more blooms out of every bit of Hydro you're applying onto the enemies because of how the Cryo and Dendro elements work when used on each other. This is a more advanced elemental theory, so I'll link a few videos that can explain this in more detail in the description down below. But what you need to know is that if you use Cryo on Dendro, it doesn't make a reaction per se, but both of the elements coexist on an enemy at the same time, so that when you use Hydro, it can effectively both freeze and bloom without removing the Dendro element, and then you can Hyperloom with your Electro character, like Kuki or Raiden Shogun, and just spam a bunch of reactions and deal really good damage with all of your characters. Lastly, if you just want to use Ayaka as a burst support, feel free to slap her in any crowd team, or any team that needs a crowd character, to use her for her burst primarily. Alright, now with that said, I'm now going to do an Ayaka showcase of my freeze team in the current floor development of the Spiral Abyss. My Ayaka is going to be on an Aminoma R5, so a free-to-play weapon, but fully refined, with a really good crit ratio. Since my Ayaka is pretty high investment on a 4-piece Blizzard Rare, these are the talents, and obviously she is Constellation Zero, with a pretty relatable weapon. With that said, I really hope the guide was helpful, and I hope you'll enjoy the showcase. Let's go.
Oh my god, what the hell is that cringe song?
I make you fly across the room from all the magic missiles. As you can see, these dice are very effective. I highly recommend you check them out, and if you do, please press the link in the description. That helps me too. onlycrits.com/PackTactics. And if you like what you see, get some shinies yourself. Use the coupon code PackTactics, all in one word, for 12% discount. Not only do you get the dice, but you also get a free adventure they made called the Drought Maker. That's a sweet deal. Back to the video. Tech. If your DM goes by Raw, then this is is relevant information for you. You can make Magic Missile into one of the best blast spells in the game with a classic build. 10 levels in Evoker Wizard, 1 level in Hexblade. The 10th level feature for Evoker called Empowered Invocation says you add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of any wizard invocation spell you cast. Your intelligence is most likely 20 at these levels. That's a +5 to Magic Missile. Let's cast it as a first level slot. So 8.5, then multiply it by 3 and you'll get 25.5 DPR. That's more damage than a 5th level Magic Missile cast normally. Here's everything. As you can see, upcasting is worth it now versus single targets. We might as well talk about that real quick. Don't spread the damage with Magic Missile. Focus fire with it instead. If you want to do AoE, use a better spell for it, like Fireball for example. Hitting 2 targets is 54.44 average damage. Now for Hexblade levels, let me be 100% clear. Magic Missile doesn't work with Hex. Some people make that confusion. Hex says you deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack. Magic Missile is not an attack. You just deal damage, so forget about Hex. Hex is a trap. Hex sucks. But Hexblade's Curse works with Magic Missile. First bullet point says you gain a bonus to damage rolls against the cursed targets. Bonus equals to your proficiency bonus. By the time this build comes online, your proficiency bonus is 4. Stack that with the Empowered Invocation in that first level spell slot, and you get 12.5. Then multiply it by 3, and you get 37.5 DPR. That's basically 1 point below the 17th level Warlock baseline. That's awesome. Here's what the damage looks like upcast. The downside to Hexblade's Curse is it's a one-time use, and then you need to finish a short or long rest. Normally, features like that aren't that good, but this is a first level diff that also gives you Hex Warrior, where you gain medium armor and shield proficiency. So that's a big deal. Lastly, once you hit 17th level, your proficiency bonus is then 6. So then your Magic Missile does even more damage. Well, Cobalt! How are you gonna justify the Hexblade level as a wizard? Gator, I went to the forest yesterday and I found this stick right here. It asked me if I wanted to be friends, and I said yes. And from there, it gave me Hexblade powers. It only talks to me when no one is looking or listening. Flavor is free, by the way. My Patreon can be anything. This part of Hexblade is just flavor text, not rules. Oh, cool. Okay, bye-bye. Making a backstory for Hexblade is super easy. Just think of any object to say talk to you, right? And then you basically have the backstory. Or you can just be like, oh, I have amnesia. And the DM is anyways, there's more combinations you can build to improve the Magic Missile further, like 2 levels of fighter for action.
Sorry, I just remembered I wanted to write some stuff and I didn't want to forget them. Right, so my computer is 144 Hz, but apparently it doesn't work anymore, so I'm at 60 Hz now and it works fine. It seems to not like being at 144 Hz during the morning. I could technically switch back, but being at 60 Hz allows me to potentially try 60 FPS Simu.
Always remember, mass shutdown is the name of the game. Last topic, I have to mention how awesome Wand of Magic Missile is. It's an uncommon magic item that requires no attunement, and you don't need a spellcasting feature to
I
use
might
it.
swap
So
back to
anyone
just
can use
30
it,
though.
including NPCs.
The recording is still in 30.
With it. Army are familiar with it.
I
This
do have
wand has
all
7
these shit
charges.
open.
While holding it, you can use your action to extend 1 or more of its charges to cast Magic Missile from it. For 1 charge, you can cast the first level version of the spell. You can increase the spell slot level by 1 for each additional charge you extend. The wand regains 1d6 plus 1 extended charges daily at dawn. If you extend the last charge, there's a 5% chance that the wand will break. If you do extend all the charges at once, that's a 7th level Magic Missile slot, 31.5 DPR, just like that. They're the submachine guns of 5e, so if there's a magic shop in your game, for example, I recommend buying many of these
Yeah,
wands,
I'm gonna
farming NPCs you're familiar, or even martial friends with them. Those melee marshals desperately need this in order to fight flying creatures. I think you get the point. Conclusion, Magic Missile is good.
I'm gonna be
Optimizing
writing after
Magic
this,
Missile
although
for
I
an
might
Evoker
play
is
some
awesome,
Reset Tier
but
first.
can be a trap as a
I've been
greedy
wanting to
for
play that game for a
damage
while
when
now.
You could be casting something that's better. Wand of Magic Missiles is the best and should be sought out by absolutely everyone. End the video. I recommend you buy some cool dice from Only Crits. I also hope to earn your subscription. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!
These tabs are saved. I can open them anytime. Oops, can't close that.
On the very least. Yeah, we have the house. Yeah, that's what
Alright, I'm ready. Right, so
fishing pole?
I actually kind of want to go do some
Do
grinding.
we don't even have money? Okay, I mean we didn't have money before we saved, but I was hoping maybe like it would forget that. Yeah, of course. I wish there was like if we had a shovel. I mean, I guess we can pick up some weeds. We're playing.
I don't have any
Crossing,
teleporters
obviously.
because the blood moon happened.
What?
So
I
I'm
think
going
is,
to have to manually walk out since
game
this
is
place
just
is too
better.
dangerous to do any grinding
Yeah, well,
on.
I think like what's the flavor of this game is just like people are mean.
But I
to you,
wanna
right? Like
do
I
it.
want these villagers to be cruel to me. Oh yeah, no, they will tell you that you smell awful. They will not. They will tell you they don't like your outfit.
I don't
They're
think
so
60
mean in this game.
FPS is
Yeah,
working.
My favorite villager growing up was Anka. Anka, is that? Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Okay, like I think. I don't have a problem with people sexualizing Animal Crossing villagers, but it is impossible to bring up Anka in a normal context anymore, and I think that sucks. Yeah, I mean, you can talk to me about
apparently 40 FPS can
I
work.
haven't, like, been that down the rabbit hole. I've seen the Twitter clips, and that's about it. I'm not invested in the Anka pornography lore. I forgot there's a dump in this game. Yeah, you get the ball? Yeah. Wait, this one... You know, okay, we talked about this first episode as well, but now I just want to, like, reiterate it. Yeah. Does this count as a different game from Animal Crossing for the 64? I think so. I genuinely think it does. I think so, yeah. There's a lot of added content to this version of the game. I think even if it wasn't, it's different enough for me. Different enough? And the shrine. I mean, that could just be a cultural difference, right? But... Wait, there's a shrine in it? Yeah, I think, like, the town square or whatever... Or like where the fountain is. Maybe I don't know which one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Like there's like a fountain in here where you can throw bells into. Yeah. I forgot how like in depth like this stuff is. What's the billboard in this one?
I'll just go with 30.
It's just a billboard. It's just a billboard. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I used to actually like write stuff on these. Is that people would come to my town and actually read them. Okay, so this is going to be a call to action. We need everybody to subscribe because since we've been uploading daily, we are actively losing subs. You guys said you wanted uploads and we gave it to you and people are turning away. If this is important, we mean it. If you have a school email, log into it right now and sub. Like, we are in desperate need. We want to hit 700k and we've been close to it for like the past month. Dude, we got so close to 700k actually. Like, we've been close to 700k for a while now actually. Like, we no longer want to hit 1 million, just 700k. Yeah, like, I'll do something. Top comment like in the side.
They're
like,
losing subs? Amazing.
Like, I love the little guy right
cards. I'm sad that they're not.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah. Did we do anything with our house? Yo, hey, we got Gamer House though.
Yeah, we just found like.
Alright, I'm gonna go try fighting this Lionel.
Yeah,
we got
the code we put in online because you can do this the special cheat codes.
Yeah, with all the eShop, do the
Even though
the
it's
speed
a
run for this
fucking
game
spear
baffles me,
Lionel.
because like it's just 100% run. It's like 3 hours of just typing in codes, right?
Yeah, which honestly kind of a funny run. Which I don't know. It seems that this like is it the cockroach?
Whoa.
I think it does in later games. Combo.
The triple kill. Nah, we just placed that shit.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Let's see what it is. Oh,
No,
it's
like,
B3.
might as well play it.
Yeah, while we're here.
Yeah, like I think that's the coolest thing about GameCube Animal Crossing is it has all these callbacks to previous games.
Yeah, I think more Animal Crossing needs to do this. I think it's pretty obscene, honestly.
Nice, I got-
that we don't get
Okay,
these
you know what? I
videos
just realized I don't have any fairies.
like New Horizons do and stuff like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Dude, imagine if like on like New Horizons they had like GameCubes that you could like play like we play like Mario Sunshine or something.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like there's no reason like because the thing is we've already emulated that game on the Switch.
I can
Why
beat
is
these
that,
guys
like, not
up though.
possible? I just like,
That'd be
You know,
fun.
like the last one, how I complained about how it was laggy.
yeah.
This one is laggy beyond belief.
Oh, dude, I told you. I
Yeah,
told
because
you.
not only are we playing through the emulation, we are playing through Animal Crossing as well.
Yeah.
So this is hard mode.
I think if you get to World 8, you just kind of beat Animal
Yeah, we
Crossing
beat
at this point.
We beat Animal Crossing. Okay. All right.
Oh, big jump, nice!
I think if I just prepare myself, if I know what I'm getting myself into, we're good.
Yeah. Okay, I wonder how many people were ready for this then. I wonder how many people clicked away as soon as we saw SMB3.
At least one.
Dude, I really think this is like one of our worst, but one of my favorite bits.
It's one of my favorite bits too.
It's so funny. I don't know, it's just dumbass. But I love the Scuba. I just lost it SMB3. Like after like
You
watch
found
after
a new love for it.
after clickbaiting it for a week straight, like I just like you know, cause I'm after like people like clicking just like stuff for the game constantly. It's just like there's a TV show for this game. Like I forget about that. Like this shitty little Mario cartoon.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
forgot about that one.
Like this game has like there's so much more to this game outside of just the cartoon itself.
Yeah, you're excited for the movie? The Super Mario Super Show. Did you watch the Super Mario Super Show?
I watched a couple of episodes, like back on like YouTube 3-part series.
Yeah, when I was a kid, they put it on Yahoo. And
Yahoo! Shout out to Yahoo!
yes, before YouTube was a thing, and I just got like I was on Yahoo because that's where like my family had all our emails on and stuff like that. So I was just on Yahoo, and on the homepage they just said Super Mario, like the show, and I was like, no fucking way.
Oh shit!
And dude, it blew me away. Like I could not believe that they made a show about Mario. And I just sat there, and I remember hurting my neck, and I just spent literally my entire day just watching it.
Wait, how'd you hurt your neck?
Just by staring at the screen.
Okay.
Like, this is before I was a gaming genius, right?
Oh,
I wasn't used to staring at a screen.
You had your posture at this point.
Yeah.
Like your body wasn't like adjusted to being treated like shit.
Exactly.
Honestly, I would go to the Toad House with this lag.
No, I'm built different. Oh, speaking of built different, Colin and I don't know if he mentioned it on the episode when I was gone, we were playing Stumble Guys together.
Yeah.
And I tweeted about this, and I told you, our good friend Hayden Fires, he's also been stumbling, and we were playing, and like, we all had pretty tame usernames. His was I Love Mario 28, and then we ran into someone whose username was just the N-word. And there's no censorship.
What? There's no
in the game.
filter?
Nope, not at all. And that inspired Fires to, he just made his username I Love Sex 28.
I'm just imagining like losing a game.
I think about like the kids who are playing Stumble Guys on mom's iPad, and she walks in the room, and it's just I love sex! Exclamation mark 28.
What is this game? This is not God's game, Jeffrey. Come on. There's no sex here. You Can you do the spade for you? Can you use the mouse on the right?
Yeah, I'll go with the gamble. You want to this one?
Yeah. I just want to see the gamble. I just love that. I just love that Mario like stands up like that. Now. Oh, you did it too. You did do whatever I said now. The very first one I beat. Oh. The second and third one. Yeah.
Want to do the mushroom house?
Yeah.
Which one, Joe?
I'm feeling 3. 2 is Gear Master. Fuck, man. What the fuck?
I choked.
Why did you ask me if you're just gonna...
I meant to do 3!
It's like asking me what I want for Christmas and then not getting it.
Jump!
You just give me nothing for Christmas.
Jump!
Jump! Yeah, right, you have to jump. You just walk to the right and
But
then
I wanted to get there. I was scared.
What are you
I messed up.
scared of?
I'm sorry. I meant to listen and respect you, but I
No, I feel like you're just like saying like, okay, what does Joe want? Now I cannot get it. Like that's just what it felt like, you know. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just like, you know, I'm just saying that's what it felt like. But it's all right, man.
Alright, just pause real quick. Here, give me a second. Stall for me.
Okay, I'll stall for you. I don't know what you're scaring for, but yeah, no, oh, you're just repositioning. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're getting up closer.
Yeah, I'm
Less input delay now.
exactly.
You see
I'm
faster.
looking on a different monitor now.
Yeah. You're like Captain America. You're just faster than everyone else is.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, Captain America, one of his powers is nothing has faster reaction time. He just sees faster.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, that's one of my favorite quotes from the comics. Because I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Just see
That's
faster.
like some JoJo Stan shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I really want to read the new JoJo's. Actually, I have never said that in my life.
9 or 7?
The one with Jesus.
Oh, that's 7.
Yeah, 7. Oh, wait. Okay, can I skip 8 then?
Bruh.
I haven't read 8. I've heard, it's like, what I've heard is it's one of those things where you either love it or hate it.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna assume on the era of hating it side, these JoJo's.
That's fair.
But the Jesus JoJo's. Okay, that what? Buddy back there.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened there. But I don't know the JoJo's that's based on Jesus Christ. I feel like I would actually get that.
Yeah, I know it's really funny.
There's so much useless Bible lore that I just have stored away in my brain cells.
The funniest part is that they canonically make Jesus like a Joestar.
Jesus Joestar.
Well, they call it like Joseph of Judeson or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Son
it's
of
like,
Joseph.
Yeah. But it's technically it makes Jesus a Joestar.
God, dude, I'm so glad I'm not in church right now. If I was in church,
And you
whenever
heard that?
yeah,
Sacrilegious.
yeah. Just imagine a youth pastor like pulling up a chair and be like, you know who the real star is in the Bible? Jesus Joseph.
Let me tell you about Abraham's bizarre adventure.
Damn, you had like the southern like crawl into that voice or the southern draw.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. We kind of ran into this last time when we played GameCube Mario 3, where it's too slippery and does not respond fast enough.
Oh yeah.
So this might not be another dub, but at least it's another day where we got to play the greatest game ever made, Super Mario.
It's still the greatest game ever, dude. I honestly played this game put me on a Mario kick. I played the first Mario kick I've had in a while. How did that one not?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got hit by
I should have died there. Come
No,
on.
like kill yourself. Honestly, like you owe the game. In-game.
Yeah, for love of the game. Did you see the guy who got arrested for making threats to a sheriff? Yeah, so some basement dweller made threats to like a sheriff, but he kept adding in Minecraft at the end of it in hopes that he wouldn't get arrested.
He's like, what? I'm gonna like kill your dog.
Yeah,
in
and I'm gonna come to your
Minecraft.
house and kill your family in Minecraft. And then like he still got arrested and it was like surprised.
Did he think it was like Twitch.tv rules? Like,
Yeah, he tried to like pull a whole keep yourself safe kind of moment.
yeah. People realize that like even on Twitch, like doubling down, like if you tell somebody like go kill themselves and then say in game, like that doesn't like I like a Twitch moderator reading that's not gonna be like, oh no, they meant in game, dude, like you're overreacting. Like they're just gonna be like, oh okay, like yeah.
And then the person backs down and goes, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. God. Why would you tell a sheriff themselves in Minecraft? Just
Oh,
leave
it's
it and like
cold,
kill yourself.
apparently.
Like, don't pussy out.
Yeah, you don't need to be coy. Double down.
Like you'll get like an army if you don't double down. Or if you do double down. Oh. Dude, the frame rate look for this one looks like
Oh my.
it's weird. The frame rate looks like fine. It's just about
Reverse
designing
the
screen
story
sharing, I
already.
guess, on this one. Yeah, like okay, like Rory looks choppy. The frame rate doesn't look fine, but for some reason, like the screen like very looks fine.
Hey, I mean, we got one. I didn't think we'd get this far, so this is huge.
This is better than we've honestly gotten in a while on this. I feel like you're cooking at Mario now.
Uh oh, did the game
I feel
crash?
like you've adapted to the lag.
This was the hard one, I think.
So I thought it was the one after the
There's a
hands.
lot of hard ones.
Yeah,
Dang
the
it.
girl is just kind of a bitch. I kind of want to replay this Mario now.
Where
but
was my last save?
I've been playing Mario World. I
Maybe I
wanna
should
get,
just
like,
disable
a decent
Hyrule
time zone.
I
Rebalance.
actually speedrun Mario World 2.
It's honestly like the 11 exit run, not bad at all.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Like,
I
just
think-
like a casual run for it at least.
I think 64 is like my next speed game.
Yeah, 64 is fun.
I reinstalled the option
If
so
you
that
need a
the armors
controller,
aren't
I might
being
have one
changed
tomorrow.
so that I could
Yeah,
actually
it's
use
just,
armor
that one always
revamp.
looks wrong, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean. I don't
And
know,
yeah,
I
the
still
main
haven't been,
module
like,
isn't
in my
installed,
speed
it's just
game yet.
everything
I
else
would
that's
love for it to
part
come
of
back,
Hyrule Rebalance
but
that's
now I'm still
activated,
stuck
but
in my like.
maybe that's not
I don't know.
enough.
I'm stuck in my shooter arc again.
Unfortunate. Toxic trade.
No, okay, it's not toxic because what I've been doing is I've been playing Counter-Strike and opening cases mainly.
Oh, dude, speaking of cases,
Oh yeah?
bro, me and Lil Bro, we've been fiending Stumble Guys.
Mhm.
I know I just mentioned it, but I need to now mention that the gambling in that game is addictive because I compare something like Overwatch loot boxes, right? Like you put money in the game, it comes out and goes, look, you got the skin.
Yeah.
Stumble Guys, you spin a wheel, and then
Oh.
it shows you what else you could have gotten.
Oh, that's like Counter-Strike gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly like CS cases.
Yeah, so you keep going, ooh, I almost got it, even though it didn't matter. It was ones and zeros. You were never supposed to get it.
Yeah. The deck is in fact stacked against you still, but like,
Yeah.
you could have gotten it.
Yeah, so then it was like me, Jome, Virus, Fur, like we had a good amount of people just grinding, gambling. We were all screen sharing, gambling skins and Stumble Guys. 5 different people all screen sharing their wheels.
Do you want to get any like sick drops?
Oh yeah, we did. I should have hit that first.
Yeah, Lil Bro talked about it a little bit whenever we
Oh
played
yo,
it.
nice.
In the first half, we're fighting 2 waves of enemies, starting with a Ruin Guard. This fight will be mostly straightforward for most players, and it's more about making sure you can output enough DPS to clear this fight quickly. One thing worth mentioning is that it does have this Geo Aura, which periodically creates these Geo Waves. The damage from these waves can creep up on you unexpectedly, so do try to keep an eye out for them. If you're using Bennett on this side, which I do recommend, they usually aren't a huge problem. For the second wave, we're fighting 2 Cryo Lava Trolls, and it's because of these guys that I recommend using a Pyrocentric team for this half. National variants, a Hu Tao team, or even a Mono Pyro team all work pretty well on this half. These lava drills do hit very hard, especially if you get hit by both of them at the same time, so you have to use a combination
Alright,
of
this is
dodges
good.
and bursts to avoid their attacks carefully. One of the lava trolls also has a Cryo Aura that summons the Ice Cage periodically, which can also become a pretty big threat. One attack I want to call out especially is this leaping attack,
30
which happens
FPS,
about
the original
15
FPS
seconds
for Breath
after
of the
they
Wild
spawn.
anyway, so
The timing happens to work
I mean,
out
it
that the Ice
sucks,
Cage
but
spawns right when the lava troll uses this leaping attack, which makes it more difficult to dodge them. I actually recommend holding one of your bursts until this attack comes out so that you can safely iframe this
oh,
combo.
I gotta beat them up again.
In terms of timing, you're aiming to clear this half in under 1 minute, ideally finishing close to the 9-10 mark if possible. The second half of this chamber is obviously the harder half, and it makes that fight a lot easier if you have at least 2 minutes remaining on the clock, and you'll understand why once we get there. If you are using some national variant with a well-built Xiangling, it's usually not too difficult to meet that time requirement. Right in national game, you're the fastest clear on this half, being able to finish in just 2 rotations or at around the 9:20 mark. The most important thing is making sure your rotations are consistent and you have enough ER on Xiangling to maintain that uptime on her first. The second half is what most of you are probably here for, and we're fighting the one and only Weenut. The first step to cracking this Weenut is to get familiar with its moveset and attack pattern, so let's go over that first. For its first attack, it'll use this thrusting attack where it shoots straight out of the ground, or this flyby attack where it shoots a bunch of Anemo missiles at you. The thrusting attack is usually the easier one to deal with because it happens right where you're standing. That makes it easy for you to get some initial damage in. As far as I can tell, it's completely random which one it opens with, at least based on the runs that I've done so far, so unfortunately there is already some RNG involved in this fight. For its second attack, it'll briefly breach the surface in one of the 4 quadrants of the arena that you're standing closest to. In my experience, these breaching attacks are usually good opportunities to get some damage in because they happen relatively close to where you are. For its third attack, it uses this charge-up laser attack, and this one happens in the opposite quadrant of the arena where you're currently standing. So after its breach attack, be prepared to run immediately to the other side of the arena.
Sure.
For its fourth attack, it again breaches the surface, close to where you are, so this is another opportunity to get some damage in. And for its fifth and final attack, it'll enter its floating state, where it slowly circles the arena and summons these bubbles over time. If you're able to pop at least 2 of these bubbles using Pyro, Cryo, Hydro, or Electro damage, it'll bring the boss down and give you about a 10-second window to deal damage. After it gets up to this vulnerability phase, it repeats these 5 attacks 1 more time. I want to emphasize the importance of learning not only the order of these attacks, but also the locations of where each one happens. The first time you fight this boss, it's going to feel very frantic and random where the boss pops up. But once you learn this attack pattern and these locations, you'll be able to anticipate approximately where it'll pop up next, and make this fight go a lot more smoothly. Next, if we look at the timing of these attacks, we'll find that they happen roughly 10 seconds apart from each other. And if we include the 10-second vulnerability window of its fifth attack, it means this boss has an attack cycle that follows roughly a 1-minute rotation. Since most of our damage is likely going to be dealt at the end of each of these rotations during that vulnerability window, it's really important to get at least 2 full minutes for this fight. There is a bit of a waiting time at the beginning of each rotation, so if we account for that overhead, 2 minutes and 10 seconds is kind of the golden time that we're aiming for in this half. And this is why I recommended finishing the first half with at least 9-10 remaining on the clock. Ideally, we want to take off about 50% of its HP with each of these 1-minute rotations, so if you're able to get its HP down to about half by the end of its first vulnerability window, that's a good indication that you're on pace for a 3-star clear. Knowing these timings also gives us a good idea of when we should be using our big cooldowns. For most teams, you'll want to use your key bursts right as the boss is going down for its vulnerability window, which is about 50 seconds into its 1 minute.
Yeah, I didn't know enough about the vulnerability window. I didn't exactly want the time, nor did I care enough to learn the patterns
that means we can also use our bursts at
to
the
maximize
30 and
my
10-second
rotation.
marks of the boss's rotation.
Case in
These
point,
timings
fuck
also
the
happen to be right
not
around
fucking
when the boss
fuck.
uses those breaching attacks, which is another reason why I tend to deal most of my damage during those windows. So knowing the boss's attack timings and combining them with the cadence of our own rotations gives us a clear timeline for when we should be dealing most of our damage. Now, when we talk about dealing damage at these specific windows, we need to account for the setup that's required to ramp
Look at all
up
these
our
drill
damage.
shafts.
If we start a rotation as the boss is reaching the surface, it's already too late, because by the time we get to our main damage dealer, the boss is almost back on the
The
ground.
only place in the world
Instead,
that
we need
has
to make sure we start our
rush
rotation
burn.
about 6 or 7 seconds before we actually want to deal damage, so that when that time comes, everything is already set up and we can maximize the time we spend actually dealing damage while the boss is vulnerable. This also means that abilities that last for a long time and can deal damage well after they've been cast are really effective here. Things like Xingqiu and Yelan's Burst are both good examples of this. The next thing I want to talk about is how tanky this boss is. The Spiral Abyss version of this boss is modified from the original Overworld version, and its resistances have been increased from 25% all res to 55% all res. For reference, most enemies have 10 to 15% all res, and just a few bosses have about 20 to 25% all res. So 55% is an absurdly high
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna
If you notice that your
disable.
hyper booms or other fixed sources of damage aren't hitting as hard as they usually do, it's not just you, the boss actually is a lot
I think
tankier
it's
than
crashing
most other
because of the
enemies.
weather.
But what
The
this
weather
also means
works
is that
differently in
resistance
Hyrule
debuffs like the
Rebalance.
effects of VV and Deepwood are really valuable and basically necessary in this fight. You deal almost 2 times as
Oh
much
well,
damage
very
when
sad.
VV is applied on the boss, so it's really important to maintain uptime on that debuff.
I've
The other
got
place where
plans
res
for
is relevant in
Hyrule
this fight is
Rebalance,
during
don't
its
you worry.
vulnerability window. The boss loses 45% res to the element that was used to pop the bubbles
I
during
wanna
its floating
see the
state.
stuff that
What
it
this
does
means is
though,
that you want to
man.
make sure to pop
They
the
seem
bubbles
really
using an
cool.
element that matches whatever your main source of damage is. If you're using a team that uses VV, one way to do this very naturally is to apply your primary element on the boss and then follow up with an Anemo attack to trigger
Well,
a
I may as
swirl
well just
reaction with
uninstall it
that
rather than
element.
disable it.
This swirl reaction is basically pulling double duty because it triggers the VV effect to decrease the res of the element that you swirled, and that swirl damage is also being used to pump the bubbles, so the boss's res to that element also drops by another 45%. And speaking of popping the bubbles, I found that it's usually easiest to pop them if you use a big AoE attack while the boss is kind of dipping down near the front of the arena. Most Anemo attacks will work here, and if you're using a Hyper Bloom team, Kuki's Burst also works very nicely to achieve this. With that, I think we've covered most of the combat-related and mechanical tips I have for this boss, so let's talk about team comps next, starting with Hyper Bloom. Hyper Bloom is always a great choice for dealing high single target damage, of course, and a nice little bonus is that sometimes the Hyper Bloom missiles will actually follow the boss into its next attack, so it does a good job of working around these relatively short vulnerability windows. It is possible to clear with the 4-star variant of this team, but I personally found it to be very difficult. The uptime on all of your bursts and skills have to be really on point to output enough DPS, and if you mistime any of your cooldowns, you likely won't have enough Dendro Cores to deal any meaningful damage. If you have Nahida, she really helps to lower the difficulty of this fight, so I would definitely prioritize putting her on this half. Because her skill lasts for so long and just deals continuous Dendro damage throughout the entire fight, she really relieves the burden of having to time your attacks correctly and managing your cooldowns. Ayaka team comps also do pretty well here because her burst deals a lot of damage in a relatively short 5 to 6 second window, which is perfect for these short vulnerability windows each time the boss pops up. Obviously, we won't be able to use our burst every time it comes up, but as we learned earlier in the video, its attacks have roughly a 10-second frequency. Ayaka's burst has a 20-second cooldown, so you can ideally use it every other time it pops up. You can run a standard Mona variation of this team, and a mono cryo variation also works quite well. Since we will be popping those bubbles with cryo damage, that means the boss's cryo res will be decreased during its stun phase, so piling on more cryo damage allows us to make the most of that debuff. One important thing to note if you are using an Ayaka team here, for some reason whenever I use Ayaka in this fight, the boss tends to skip its 4th attack in its rotation, which is that second breach attack. So after its laser attack, it goes straight into its floating state. What this means is that we have to shift our attack timings a little bit. Since we want to use Ayaka's burst during the stun phase of the floating state, working 20 seconds back from that, we want to use one burst during its laser attack, and then another one during its very first opening attack. So far, I've only seen it skip its 4th attack when I use Ayaka, but please do share in the comments if you observe this with any other team comps as well. One team comp that I enjoyed a lot and actually got me my fastest clear is this Yelan Taser team. The main idea with this team is just to load up our team with 3 of the strongest off-field single target damage dealers in the game and enable them with an Anemo driver such as Sucrose. The key thing that makes this team so effective against this boss again goes back to how high its base resistances are. Taser teams do a good job of maintaining the Hydro-Electro double aura on the enemy thanks to how Electro Charge works, which makes it easy for us to trigger those double swirls and reduce both the Hydro and Electro res on this boss. Since the boss has such high base resistances, that res shred is just that much more valuable. One last team comp that can work pretty well here is a Hyper Carry Raiden team. As long as you take advantage of those 3 attack windows like we talked about earlier, the rotation timings line up really well with the boss's attack pattern and you end up with a pretty smooth clear. The main drawback of this team is that it takes Bennett away from the first half where you usually want that national team to be, so this would only be possible if you had another way to effectively battery Xiangling or a Hu Tao team to take that first half instead. So this is a bit of a luxury option that won't be available to everyone. And that covers just about all of the team comps that I had the most success with. This boss is a very tough nut to crack, but hopefully these tips and team comp suggestions can help make the fight a little bit easier. The builds for all the characters I showed in this video will follow shortly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.
Very sad, but honestly, this this mod is not balanced around such a slow stamina reduction. Alright, let's rush our way to the stable as fast as possible. I could actually just teleport. Yeah, what am I doing running? Although, where should I teleport to?
Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass Zero.
I think for now I'm just gonna go to Elden.
Mr. Hops Playhouse
Stable.
3, which is a horror game where you must deal with a giant rabbit doll that may or may not want to eat your soul, and also the third game in the Mr. Hops Playhouse series. The biggest change to this one transitioning to more of a 3D style.
Oh my god, that guy always... Oh wow, there's voice acting now.
Water from the kitchen.
What the?
So I did play the demo of this previously. This is the full release of the game. And of course it's considerably longer, probably more polished than the demo was.
Okay, yeah, this place does... I do remember
And
this
like the previous
place has a
playthroughs, I've done
history of
Mr. Hops
crashing a
will of
lot.
course be aiming for all endings. Good for you. I can push that. Keep that there for right now.
Let me try re-merging my mods at least. But yeah, I'm just gonna teleport since I have that ability.
Flush the toilet. Squeeze the ducky. Very cool. Every chair is pushable, theoretically. Got some notes here. Ruby, pizza in fridge. I will be home late. Aunt Debbie. Get the pizza later. Let's look around just a little more. I don't think there's anything too useful here. Mr. Hops was a secret kind of base game, so I do need to kind of like fully explore the boundaries of every room. No. It's fine. Mr. Hops is dead. He would never come back for a third time. Yeah, I did. Yes, get back to bed. Do I really want to? not turn around. Golly, there's nothing behind me. Everything seems fine.
It could be that adding in Hyrule Rebalance permanently affected this save file. And now there's just no turning back. This game's just gonna crash way more often. If so, well, gosh darn it, it wouldn't be the first time.
Interesting that the chairs stay where we left them. That means they also could theoretically get stuck to where we can't move them. As an evil rabbit, don't open that door. But since I'm a YouTuber, you have to go and open that door. Yeah, see, it's nothing. Hey, look, a rabbit doll. I heard. Give yourself to us. I don't think I will. Dead end. Mr. Hobbs Playhouse Triple.
What I need are fairies. And fast. I need their
You're in
safety.
hell. Or Purple Ocean World, one of the two. Oh man, I love gems. I'm pretty sure it just beamed it directly into your head. This is pure schlock, and I'm ready for it. I guess that's one of the stones we need. Whoa! This is really maze-like. Make sure we don't miss any of these. I am not sure what it is with Mr. Hobbs and, like, spike traps in hell. Oh. Just don't even like bother even walking into them. He is just obsessed with spike traps. That'll show that they'll go. Some good old fashioned spike traps like we used to do in the old days. Yeah, see, so we need one more of those. One spike. Assumingly that's all we need, but we'll comb the whole area. Okay. Next zone. There's a more traditional place.
Hello? Can anybody help me?
No. I usually assume stairs means that's the place you're supposed to go. And that's the problem with this type of game. You have to figure out where you're not supposed to go. If you want to find secrets or objectives or things like that. So I remember when I played this demo, I was kind of thinking, it looks like, it really makes me think of a PlayStation game called, a few of many actually. One was Little Rascal? It wasn't that great of a game. And the other one was a bit better. It was the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil was pretty good. It wasn't good, but it was like a decent enough, aesthetically and atmospherically, kind of Halloween-ish horror platformer? I say horror very loosely, it was for kids, but the setting was horror, like goblins and ghouls. Okay. On that note, we're talking about this era of like graphics. The Halloween levels of Gex I always felt were scary. Back in the day, not nowadays. But you could never know the truth. What's the truth? You think I can handle the truth? Black Lensman.
That was the wrong button, but whatever.
Two elevators, are they both leading to the same place? Oh, there's a demon. Some stabbing. That's not cool. I feel like there's not much strategy to this. It's as primitive as the era of games it's emulating. Yeah, okay, so it does look retro. But I don't think we're fully done there yet, so let's go back. Secret?
Why is there a bat swarm here?
Come on, step it up! Ow. There was another curious horror game from this era. I don't know, I never played it if it was any good. But I never there was a lot of marketing for it. It sounds like a monster in mind. It was called Run Like Hell. Run Like Hell. Supposedly it wasn't that great, because it just disappeared off the map as soon as it was out. Ow. I walked right through that one.
Urbosa Fury is ready.
I'm not sure if I'm solving correctly, and I'm just getting extremely lucky, or what. Or if it's just anything you input is green. Seriously, did I just brute force a puzzle in the first run? I need to confirm something. I need to go the other direction.
This'll do for now.
I did! Oh no. Just have a good sense for this kind of stuff. Like, it's like... Because here's... If assumingly it's not... Assuming I solved it in the first run legitimately like that, I just had like a good logic for like, if I were deciding a puzzle, which ones would I pick in order? I'm just like, alright, that's how I'm gonna do it. And turn out to be the right one. So like, scary. The Ever Pro tag? Because Mr. Hobbs Playhouse 2 was... yeah, okay. It was a prequel. It showed, because the Nana was the, previous owner of Mr. Hobbs. And then, Mr. Hobbs, like in the lab where the sequels comes back and takes out the previous survivor. So, I mean, this is excluded from the dev, by the way. Like, I don't see any similar patterns whatsoever. I'll come back to this. Why is there a cave troll? Hey, can you come over and smack this? I don't know if that's what you want me to do. How about these? The symbol says that, so, smack this one.
Okay, yeah, I think Hyrule rebalanced. Fucked up
This cave troll is so bad.
stuff permanently even after uninstalling it.
Oh, the P!
Oh man.
This cave troll's weak to it.
I'm never gonna beat that mod.
Ow. Yeah, they are really not into that.